The Gap, our podcast about involving young people in research, one episode at a time. Hi everyone, my name is Sadia and your co-host today is...
Fatima! Hello everyone!
We talked about what involvement is and how young people can find opportunities to get involved in research. Today, we're going to talk about an issue that sometimes gets in the way of people wanting to learn about or get involved in research.
So we all know how in science or research there can be unnecessarily long and difficult, scary looking words to describe something simple. For example, like, did you ever know that there's a word for the action of sharing information? Well, now you know, it's dissemination. In today's episode, we'll be talking about jargon, which is special words and phrases used by specialists or people of a certain expertise, in our case, researchers. We'll be focusing on jargony words and examples of them.
It's actually quite funny. So the word jargon in itself is jargon, a specialist term to mean specialist terms. Jargon can be words that have one meaning in everyday use and sometimes something entirely different in research. Jargon can be phrases that have been abbreviated and are super well known by researchers, but not so much by the public. To give us an idea about just how weird jargon can be, we're actually going to play a game with some guests.
So representing the public, we have my brothers, two younglings. Yes. Do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Hello. My name is Nabeel. I'm Fatima's brother. And today I'm a guest in this podcast. And I have absolutely no scientific background. The last science class I had was back in GCSEs, so this should be fun.
Yes. All right. What about you?
Hello, my name is Abdulrahman. I'm the youngest of these three, so I have probably the least knowledge about science here. Well,
yes.
Hopefully I'll do well.
Will you do well? Yeah, his heart is beating so fast right now. And representing the researchers, we have our amazing producer, who is also a research associate and a PhD student.
Hi, guys.
It's Nadine. Yes. We'll give both teams a word that can also be jargon and ask them to define it to their best abilities to see how strange jargon can be, yeah? All right, then. So the first, it's not a word, this one, it's a phrase. Grey literature.
Well, I'm gonna guess that it's because when something is known as a grey term, it's like in between. It's like you can make your own meaning of it, like depending on the situation.
Ooh.
So grey literature, I'm gonna guess it means that it's like random situations depending on what situation you're in.
Oh, okay. What about you, Nabeel? What do you think?
Well, grey is a boring color, so I guess just boring literature.
Oh, fair enough. That's a good guess.
I remember thinking that grey literature was also boring literature, so I'm glad to see I wasn't the only one.
To be fair, I thought it was uncertain literature, as Abdul said. Yeah, undiscovered or like I don't know, unexplored. I don't know.
So grey literature is actually literature that isn't commercially published academic literature. So when we publish academic or scientific findings, we publish them in like textbooks or in publications that are owned by big organizations. When we publish findings in places that aren't one of these two, so like blogs or on websites or things like that, that's called grey literature.
Oh, interesting. Right.
I like your guys' definition better.
I'm wondering why they named it grey literature. It's quite a bit. Oh well.
Because it's not black and white.
Oh, so it's not like.
I don't know. I'm making that up.
Oh well, right. On to our next word. What is a journal?
A journal.
Journal, yeah.
Like a journal.
Yeah.
Something that you write notes in and like you keep track of things with it.
Duh. What about you, Nabil? What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it'd be like a diary almost, or a planner, no? Like a journal where like you say what you did and stuff.
Oh, fair enough. Like a diary or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Is this like a trick question?
I don't know.
It has to be.
I don't know.
No
We won't know until we ask the researcher.
So a journal is actually that publication I mentioned that people publish their findings in. So journals, like lots of different societies for different fields, will release journals once a month, sometimes once a week, with all the most recently done scientific studies.
So scientific journals. We should have probably specified when we asked.
Yeah. So when you talk to like any academic, they'll always be talking about, oh yeah, I'm trying to get into this journal. I just, submitted a paper or a research study to this journal. And basically anything that isn't in a journal is grey literature.
Yeah, all right. So the third word. What is a priori?
Okay. I think we're starting to get to just a bit above my difficulty level, so a priori.
Give me your best guess.
Let me honest. A priority.
Okay.
What was it? What was the word?
A priori.
A priori. It sounds like priority, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna assume important qualifications for a scientist.
Okay. I'm just shot in the dark. A priori is the name of the profession. You know how Nadine just said something about the scientists that approve of the other person's journal?
Yeah.
That person is the a priori. I don't know.
We're not laughing at you. We're not laughing at you.
I just want to say I have beef with this word because not only is science already difficult, but what kind of word is a priori? And how it's spelled, guys, is APRIORI. Until today, I had no idea how to pronounce this. And the fact that you're telling me I also need to know Latin to be able to understand jargon is insane.
Honestly, like, Sadia, I'm with you. I had beef with this word the first time I came across it. Because, a priori literally just means beforehand.
Oh my
because
god.
It's, a priori, it's got the word prior in it, so it's literally prior to.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Why though? Why?
I don't know. Like, why do scientists do this? Why are we like creating our own language, recycling old language?
So mid sentence, a scientist would just say a priori.
Yeah. So like, you'll read a paper, and for example, if we say like, instead of saying we wrote these papers before we gave them to the participant, we would say we wrote these papers a priori before giving to the participant.
That's just too much.
Yes. All right. Shall I move on to the next word? This one isn't that hard. I mean, intervention.
Like the same thing as like divine intervention, or like intervention as in like intervention as in like the thing you go to school.
Oh, intervention, or like after school intervention. Yeah. This is too funny. That's true though. Like there is after school intervention. That's true.
What is an after school intervention?
We call extra lessons after school for like year 11s. They used to call them intervention in our school.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a bit random, but that's the case.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're intervening with the home time.
Oh, yeah, true.
Intervention has to do with scientists intervening with other scientists' research. So it's got to do with correcting other scientists' journals.
Oh my god, you're not ready for the actual definition.
Oh my.
Actually, he hit the word, like the intervening part was really on point, because it is scientists intervening, but they're not intervening with other researchers. They intervene with participants. So it can be when a scientist introduces or intervenes in an experiment. So for example, if you're giving a lab mouse a drug, that's the intervention. That drug is the intervention. If you have participants and you, I don't know, for example, in a study, you introduce a therapy. So that therapy is an intervention. An intervention is basically anything in a scientific study that you've introduced to see if it kind of like works or not.
All right. So this might be easier for you, Abdul. What is a sample?
It's like where you take a selective thing or a group.
Ooh, okay.
To use for experiments.
Oh, that's the triple science helping out.
I was gonna say like a Tesco free sample.
Tesco free sample.
I like that answer better, the Tesco free sample.
Wow.
But actually, the like taking a portion of a group part is like, it's not bad, because like in this case, research sample, it's you're taking a portion of the population. So you're taking a few people from the population of the world, and you're including them in your study. So it's the people that you've recruited to your study, your participants, that's your sample. So it is like taking people from a big group, taking a few of them, making a little group and doing your study on them.
Yeah, that's amazing. What does reliable mean?
Reliable.
Okay, well, I mean, you've probably already established that this is a podcast like that's scientific. So
Yeah, okay.
allow Nabil to answer because I have a feeling you might know because of triple science again. GCSE is coming in handy for one.
Reliable means that something is approved. I'm not sure. Like, if it's reliable, that means that you can trust it. It's a trusted source, I guess.
I'm thinking that it's not a theory or a hypothesis, it's like proven. And it's like been confirmed by big corporations and scientists. So it's like, let's say when you read a journal of another scientist and they see something, you try it out yourself to see if it actually is like that. And if it works, then that source is reliable.
Okay, I think that's a bit too much. But...
Yeah.
Technically, now that you say it like that, that's what reliable should mean. Like all of those things, like you would think that would be it. But specifically in research, when we say, a study is reliable, what we mean is no matter how many times we repeat that study, if we repeat it in the same way, we'll always get the same results. Doesn't necessarily mean those results are right or good if it's a good experiment, but no matter how many times you repeat it, you will get the same results.
So reliable and consistent are the same, right?
Yeah, your results are consistently the same. They might not be right, but yeah, they're consistently the same.
Okay, so what does PPI mean?
Is that like an acronym?
Yeah, like P for pizza, I for indigo. I don't know.
Is it like a disease?
PPI. Wait, so it is an acronym, right?
Yeah.
Oh, personal periodic intervention.
Okay. Well, that's a smart guess. It's not.
I don't.
Yes, I think Nadine probably save him. Give him the answers.
So PPI, if you've been listening to this podcast so far, you'll know that it stands for patient and public involvement, which is basically, we've been talking about involvement in our last 2 episodes. So everything that we've discussed about what does involvement mean, how to get involved, all of that comes under patient public involvement or PPI. I do think it is ironic that to get people involved, you tell them to take on PPI opportunities and they might not even know what PPI stands for.
Yeah, like if somebody just like what? So people could stop you on the street and tell you to be a part of a PPI.
I think they're insulting me.
Like I see it sometimes on like research flyers, like we're advertising a PPI opportunity, and it's like if I wasn't a researcher, I wouldn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that was 5 years ago.
Yeah, makes sense. All right then, this is a bit of a tricky word because you can read it like in different ways, I guess.
So this is considered tricky and the rest aren't.
Well, so it's pilot.
Pilot, like a first episode of a show is called the pilot.
Was it? I didn't know that before.
Yeah, like the first introductory episode that introduces the characters. It's a pilot.
I was thinking like pill, and
Okay.
it. So it's
No,
like
it's
turn something into a pill. It flies down like your throat.
I always thought that the
He
first
goes on
episode is
story,
called
this
the
guy.
pilot episodes because like it takes off the show, but I'm not sure now.
Honestly, that is a fantastic metaphor for what it is in research, because just like how in TV shows there's the pilot episode, when we do a research study, sometimes we run a smaller version of a research study or a first version of it to see, instead of, for example, if in our research study we need 100 participants, we might run a small version with 10 people just to see like what goes wrong, what isn't working, what needs to be changed. Kind of like a pilot episode in a TV show to see like what works with viewers and what doesn't.
That's so interesting. So Nabil actually got it right.
Yeah, I'm just
For once.
I'm just intelligent like that.
That's so cool.
I just wanted to express a big thank you to our guests today for partaking in this game with us, especially because we didn't tell you anything before dragging you on.
You're welcome. It's very, very nice. I just want to say that a priori is a useless word, and you just used the word before.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, there is some jargon like grey literature, journal, intervention, sample, reliable. Those are some good examples of words that can mean one thing to the public, but another to researchers. There are many words that sound completely normal but could have a drastically different meaning in research. Following on from this, PPI, for example, is jargon that is an abbreviation for something. Researchers are very familiar with these types of abbreviations, but the public may not be. So now that we have tested the knowledge of our guests after throwing them in the deep end, I would love to ask you both, what is the coolest thing from today for you guys on this podcast?
I personally feel like the coolest thing is that there's a whole like encyclopedia of like terms normal people on the street just wouldn't know, and just like that's just crazy to me. It's almost like a different language.
Yes. What about you, Abdul?
It's like, when you search something on Google and it gives you like multiple definitions.
Yeah.
It's cool seeing that there's so many definitions for like a single word. Like journal, you think it just means like something that you put your notes in, or like intervention and things like that. It's like crazy to think that there's some words that have meanings that you'll never know unless you go into the specific route of like a job.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah, it's quite fascinating. Like, I'm just nervous because like my specialty is biology. It just makes me nervous about all the words that I've not really discovered yet, and all the words that I have to learn and memorize. But that's very niche.
You know what? That is a fear that many people have, and it is something that we will be discussing on our next episode. So it's amazing that we've got this in here. For our next episode, we will be looking at what jargon will we be hearing on this podcast, why young people should know about jargon, how young people can deal with being afraid of jargon, and how young people can get involved in things related to jargon in research. So, as always, thank you for joining us on Bridge the Gap. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, and check out our socials. And it's okay if you're a little scared of jargon. I'm still scared.
Is jargon a plural term? So there's no S at the end if you want to say
Jargons.
Yeah, it's just jargon. It's the plural for technical.
Okay, fair enough.
What's the singular term?
Jargona.